Hi everyone, it's Leanne with Lovely Scrappin', and I'm here with my very first design team project for Lindy's Stamp Gang. So some of you may know I've been recently asked to join their team, and I'm so excited and so thrilled. Oh my goodness, you guys, Tracy is absolutely amazing. She's such a sweetheart, so kind and generous, and I'm just having a blast getting to know, the ladies on the team. I know a few of them already, and so I'm getting to know some of the other ones, and I'm just so excited to be on this team, you guys. So I really wanted to make another mixed media canvas collage. Some of you may have already seen the very first one I did of my daughter, and I really loved the way it turned out, and I had so much fun that I wanted to make another one. And I wanted to challenge myself to do a self-portrait for the very first time. I don't usually do anything with pictures of me. I try to avoid it, but anyway, I wanted to give it a whirl. I was really inspired by Dabrowska, also known as Finnabair, and I know a lot of you probably have heard of her. She does amazing work and does amazing mixed media, and I was so inspired I really wanted to do a bigger canvas and just try to express myself through mixed media and through the inspiration I got from nature and so forth. So, and I'm going to go into, the whole feel of this canvas and where I was getting inspiration from and whatnot and where I went with things. But first of all, I just want to mention that in the description box below, I'm going to have the links to Lindy's Stamp Gang, their store, their blog, and Facebook. So be sure to check them out, you guys. You will not be disappointed in their amazing products. And I'm also going to have a link to the start to finish video. I have done a start to finish video, you guys, so it'll be separate from this. And it might be a two-parter because it's pretty long. You can probably have an idea of, how long this takes. And doing a start to finish video was very, very time consuming, and so was the editing. So it might be a two-part start to finish. But anyways, the links to those will be down below. And okay, so let me just dig right in and get started. So I'm going to describe, first of all, the picture was taken from my husband, by my husband. My daughter, my dog, and my hubby and I all went for a nice family fall stroll in this beautiful park nearby, and took lots of pictures, and it's fall time, November 2012, so lots of beautiful colors where we live, and oh my gosh. So I knew I wanted to do some layouts with the pictures that we were taking, and I took pieces from, like leaves and different shrubbery, whatever you want to call it, from, our surroundings and whatnot to bring inspiration into this project, and because it's very inspired by nature. I love nature. I love fall. I love the fall colors, and that's what I wanted to incorporate in this. So I'm calling it Sweet November, and so I did tons and tons of layering, you guys, not only of product but of like color product from Lindy Stamp Gang. I used only a bit of brown acrylic paint along the frame and the sides because it's very thick. I think it's about 1.5 inches thick, and it's 16 inches by 20 inches, so it's very, very big. So I only used brown acrylic paint and gesso. Everything else was all Lindy Stamp Gang. So I'm just going to give you a quick overview here because it's quite big and I can't show it all in frame. But I have taken lots of photos, you guys, so hopefully you guys can get a better idea of what that looks like. And that's the top. And I won't be able to show the sides or pretty much. Oh yeah, I won't be able to show the sides very well, but you can get an idea. Well, first of all, what I did was I, primed everything with gesso, so everything was white after I had laid all the embellishments down. I just painted everything with gesso because it helps to take, I find anyway, when I use the sprays and paints and stuff, it helps to take the color better. It holds it. Otherwise, it will just slide right off the metal and it won't have anything to stick to because gesso is kind of gritty and has a bit of a tooth to it. So that's the reason why I use gesso for my base. And so I did a bit of painting with the brown acrylic paint. I wanted to darken it up, so I used the Flat Fabio Toto Tornadoes Black, and you guys, I love, love, love this. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited that I got this because it's got no shimmer to it, and if you ever wanted to make a black flower or anything like that with a spray with no shimmer, instead of painting it, you guys use this. It's so rich and so black. I love it. It's a good true jet black. So anyways, I used some of that along there, and then I used some Cadbury milk chocolate, the Starburst. This is one of my favorites, and it of course does have a shimmer to it because it's a starburst spray. And I also went over with some Flat Fabio, again no shimmer in the Flat Fabios, and I went over with some Sandra Di Sepia in some areas along the edges too. Again, I'm taking the dark and I was bringing the dark in, and that's kind of the way I was starting it off, but of course I steered away from that a little bit. The next darker color, I did the Cattail Copper Brown, and I had sprayed that in some of the areas on the outer edges. And then I brought in the Bayou Boogie Gold and did that in some areas as well. And again, you're going to see me doing all of this spraying in my video. And then I did want to try out, because I did I sample sprayed all of these on paper first, you guys, and I heat set it to see if I'd like the color. So that's how I choose my colors. When you have so many colors in front of you and you're like, what am I going to use? I just sample sprayed them on cardstock, and I put the cardstocks together to see if I liked it. And so that's kind of how I chose my color combo. So I used the Flat Fabio Danny Zuko's Denim in some areas. And then I also tried to lighten it with a bit of a Tiber turquoise, which added a bit of green to it. But I found I didn't need these as much, and these are Flat Fabios as well, so no shimmer. I didn't need them as much because I ended up loving the color combo of the Starburst sprays, the Tainted Love Teal, and the Tiffany's Blue. I love these, and these just go so well together. And I did mostly this one where the darker blue is that you can see, and then I accented on the side of it in some areas with the lighter blue to add sort of a blend. So you can see it's like dark, and then it goes like dark, and then it goes light in some areas. And then I also, for a majority of it, also use the Grab-A-Guy Gold, and so anywhere that you see like a yellowish gold tinge, that's this one here. Again, Starburst spray. And then I did do a lot of highlighting with gesso at first, but it really, the gold that I had all the way around really soaked through the gesso, and it was quite yellow. So I highlighted it. I wanted to try this. Frozen Jack Frost is one of the newer ones they have in the newest collection. And oh my gosh, you guys, I love this. This is just so cool. It really shows up nice, and like when I do a spray of something, I quickly heat set it because I don't want it to dampen the colors underneath, and they tend to bleed into each other and it turns into a different color. And so what I do is I spray and quickly heat set it, and then I spray and then heat set, spray and heat set, and that way you get more of the true color. And I do layer, like a few times I had to layer the gold like over the white because it really lightened into a yellow. So I sprayed the gold again and a few times to really get the gold to stand out. So you just have to play with it until you get the look that you want. And this I really loved, and I went over around my picture with that. So those are the colors basically that I used. I also took a little bit of the Grab-A-Guy Gold with a paintbrush and just kind of brought in the yellow into the picture to sort of blend it a bit. And then I did the same with the gesso. And when I sprayed, some of the spray of the was it Frozen Jack Frost also came into the picture a bit. And I had, when I laid it down, my picture down, I sealed it with Mod Podge Matte, and it helps to protect it. And I also use a damp, baby white over top of it when I'm doing my spraying. But at one point I accidentally was heat setting an area and I wasn't really paying attention, and I sort of melted some of the Mod Podge sealer off. So it didn't damage the picture, but the seal came off, and so I resealed it, but then you can kind of tell in some areas. But again, I'm not too worried about it. Overall, it doesn't look too bad, and it sort of adds to the grunge feel. But anyways, I've learned from that mistake. Again, it's only my second collage I've ever done, so I'm learning, as I go, and there are probably things I will do differently next time, but again, it's a learning process. So don't be afraid to try, you guys. So anyways, that is just a quick overview of, the color and everything that I've done. As you can see, there's tons and tons of just embellishments and all kinds of fun stuff. I've used I Am Roses flowers, Prima flowers, no-name flowers, dollar store flowers, like Recollection flowers. I've used all types of different fun flowers that I like the look of. I used like flat back pearls, and, this is a piece from a smoke alarm detector thing that we didn't end up using, so I put it in here because I like the look of it. I've got, this is right here that's sitting on top. If I can bring this down a bit, you can kind of see this frame here is from Lindy Stamp Gang, and that's one of their brass charms. And I've got, metal paper clips, tons of buttons, like the vintage buttons and the normal type of buttons, and screws and washers. There's Tim Holtz in here, like pen nibs, dominoes, Tim Holtz numbers. This is actually symbolizing the year 20, and then the 1/2 is actually meant to be 1/2, so 2012, but I didn't have an extra 2, so I just made it like that, and that worked. I've got bottle caps and lots of beads, a chess piece. This is a sprinkler head. I try to incorporate things, you know, that have meaning as well, and so a sprinkler head I put in here from my hubby. He noticed that right away before I had done the painting. He's like, "Is that one of my sprinkler heads again that you took?" I'm like, "Yep." And I also used one of his light bulbs from his work too. This light bulb is like, I don't know, I think he said like over $50 or something like that, like crazy ridiculous, because they last like, what did he, 17 years? I can't remember what he said. Anyways, it's for lighting and, you know, outside lighting and all that kind of stuff. So it's one of those really high-end light bulbs, and I didn't know that, but I saw it sitting around in his work stuff, and I'm like, oh, I'll just use that. Maybe it's burnt out, right? But anyway, I got a little bit of flack for that one. But I put another light bulb there, and that one's from Tim Holtz. And I've got just all kinds of fun things I found from my thrift stores. This is one of those drawer pulls that looks like a door knocker. That's why I love it, but it's a drawer pull. I've done a lot of texturing in the background, laces and cheesecloth, chicken wire. Tissue paper, you guys will see me do. I kind of had a vision of doing a tree, a big like half of a tree trunk kind of going all the way up the side, and then at the top it was to be like a bunch of branches branching out, and I was going to put a bunch of the leaves on, which I did. I still did some of the branches, and I did do leaves like you can see here and some here and here. But I kind of changed my vision a little bit, but I did hang some other greenery here that I picked when we were out, and I love the way that looks too. And I sealed it ahead of time with Mod Podge because I didn't know where I was going to incorporate it, but I think if I was to do it differently, I would put it down fresh when I knew I was going to use it and then seal it with Mod Podge. That way when it dries after I've sealed it and you put it down, it tends to curl, and so when you put it down, you've got to, bend it and some of it chip off and break. But anyway, I went with it and it worked. All kinds of fun stuff, you guys, like what are those, like spools, thread spools, or bobbins, whatever you want to call it. This is a metal clip, it's a magnet that you put on your fridge, but the magnet's not very good, so I threw it on there. This is one of those big Michaels keys and a little drawer pull. This is a little nest I got in a spray that I got from my dollar store, and I just took out the little eggs that were in it because they were big, and I just, no, this one didn't have eggs in it, I don't think, so I added these big beads. And I've got this here is a golf tee. My husband loves playing golf again. I like to add things with meaning in it, so added that here. He saw that. He's like, "I love you," and gives me a big kiss. He feels so proud that I've incorporated things that, from him. He's so cute. Anyway, so yeah, I've just added all kinds of stuff. This is like sort of a big spray. I cut it in half, and so part of the spray is here, and the other part is coming like this way, almost like a branch, tree branch. And so I've got that hanging off there. So lots and lots of dimension. I think that's all. I'm not going to go into crazy detail, you guys, because again, I've done a start to finish video, and it's going to have pretty much everything. For the most part, I have cut out some things that are repetitive. You don't need to see me paint the whole thing white kind of thing. So I've cut it down quite a bit so it's not too long. And I've sped it up and done a voiceover too. So I've had a lot of compliments that people are really liking that way of me doing it with the voiceover. So it's being sped up, but at the same time I'm explaining what I'm doing. So anyways, you guys, I hope you enjoy this project. I had so much fun creating this. It's the biggest canvas I've ever done, and I'm going to go a step further and do an even bigger one next. Maybe after I get a few other projects done, but yeah, it's very time consuming, but super fun. So thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much, you guys, for all your wonderful comments that you leave on my videos. I just get, totally overwhelmed and cheery, and big smile goes on my face when I read all of the comments. And, although I can't respond, I don't have the time in the day to respond to every single comment. I would love to, but please know that I do read them. they automatically get sent to my inbox in my email when people comment on my videos. So I try to do my best to respond to questions. If I remember, if I forget and don't respond, then please don't hesitate to ask me again or send me a personal message. That's usually the best way to get through to me. So anyways, I'm going to stop rambling. Thanks so much, you guys. Take care. Bye now.